In this short video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT4 together with Google Classroom to create a quiz that can then easily be assessed in ChatGPT4 and then the results put back into the Google Classroom, which will allow it to be exported as a CSV or Google Sheet report that can be analyzed and used to help adjust instruction. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have ChatGPT4 open with a new chat. And then we go to Google Classroom and we open up a class and create a quiz. So I'm going to open up English 9 Honors. I'm going to go to Classwork, click Create, and Quiz Assignment. And when it comes up, it'll be a blank quiz. I want to make sure I put it in locked mode, that I give it a title, and I put the instructions here, and then I also put the instructions in the blank quiz itself. So whatever the instructions are, I'll put them here, and then I usually just copy so I can just paste them in. And then with the locked mode on, I'm going to go into the quiz in a moment, but if I'm creating a writing assignment, I can also create a Google Doc that will attach to this assignment so students can revise it. So this was just called the test. And here I would put something about revision instructions and how many points they can get. And each student will have a Google Doc connected with that blank quiz. And I want to make sure we make a copy for each student. So make a copy for each student, make sure it's in the locked mode. I can put the points in and I'll change all this due date and topic information later. So now I'm going to make sure I open up the quiz. I'm going to put those same instructions into the quiz. Now I'm creating a writing assignment. So I'm just going to put test, put essay test here. And then I want to make sure that I choose paragraph. It'll allow the students to type in as many paragraphs as they want. The only thing that I found they can't put in is italics. So I tell them to use quotes in the same way. So I can put in the answer key, the number of points that it's going to be worth, just so the students will know the score. And because I'm going to put the feedback in here, and it's required. I make sure I click on the required button so they have to open this one up and use this one. Now with it in the locked mode, when students open and start the quiz, they can't close it or go to any other tabs without me seeing that. It will tell them that if they submit it and go back in, that it'll notify the instructor. So here's the blank quiz now, and then it's in the Google Classroom, and then now we just click Assign. So once I have the students, once the students complete the quiz, I'll quickly show you one that I did with English 9 Honors. Here's a punctuation test. I can do it with that one, or a retake, or with the essay. Let me find it out. I apologize. 44-minute in-class essay. Here it is. So when the students have finished this, when I open up the form, I will see all the responses. So if I have 2 or 3 classes do it, all the responses will be in here, and they're turned in based on when they finished. So when I click on individual, I can go through them one at a time. So I would copy this essay response. I go to ChatGPT, and here I will have primed the chat to assess what I wanted to assess. So I could start by simply telling it, please assess the following essays based on Wisconsin 9th grade writing standards. Now this is really vague and general. I don't generally do this with it this vague. I want to be more specific, but I can tell it beforehand, please explain which standards you will focus on. So now it's going to tell me the Wisconsin standards that it's found, and I can evaluate this and tell it that it's missing something. For example, it's got a thesis claim, there's a structure, there are transitions, but so far I don't see anything about a topic sentence for each paragraph. So I could tell it, good, but add a clear topic sentence for each paragraph and an evaluation of the students' support of that topic, of the topic sentence with details and explanation. So then I would add this. Before I even begin anything, I want to prime the chat to make sure it's doing exactly what I want. Another way to do this is to give it specifically the expectations. So for example, over here on the left, I have a chat that I've already primed. So here's the English 9 44-minute essay. And if I go back up to the top of this, I will see all the standards. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And the expectations at the top. At any point, I can ask it to tell me which standards and expectations it's using. So basically, that's how you use ChatGPT together with Google Classroom to evaluate the essays. But make sure that you prime the chat. So as I go through, I want to keep going back and checking to make sure that it is evaluating it based on the expectations that I want, which Wisconsin standards. And so I can just tell it what to do. And then I would simply put in the first essay, check the results against the essay itself and how I would do it. And if I agree, then I do the next one and the next one, and I review and revise as we go forward. And then I would put the feedback back into, with the score, into the Google Classroom spot right underneath that student response. So here's the student response, or I'm sorry, here's the feedback. And then a week later on our writing day, students would go back in to their assignment. They would see that Google Doc that is attached to it, and they would revise. They would take these suggestions, recommendations for improvement, and they would revise for a higher grade. If they attempt to improve all of the recommendations for improvement, then they can go up as high as a full letter grade. So this is how I use ChatGPT together with Google Classroom. It takes a little time to prime, but now for every year, I will have all of these primed chats that will assess exactly the way I want it to and provide more expansive feedback than I can and keep track of everything. In another video in the future, I'll show you how to look at the reports that come from these responses in order to chart their growth. So the reports that are in the sheets can be used to evaluate their growth as long as we put the scores in. And that's that. See you next time.